Hello again, everybody. I'm Bradley Sward, and this is my Day 10 Part 2 solution for Hoof in Python for the advent of Code 2024. I should have just tried to do the problem instead of thinking I would do it later, because it turned out to be relatively easy. So for at least for the way I wrote my code. So for Part 2, we're trying to figure out, for Part 1, we were trying to figure out from any 0 how many distinct 9s can we get to. And for part 2, we're trying to get from 0 to 9s, but we just want to keep track of how many paths, not necessarily how many 9s. And so that's the difference between part 1 and part 2. And just to say, I had already done this, so like that was my answer for I basically already had it done, because all I did to modify part 1 to part 2 here is instead of using a set for unique 9s, I'm using a found list for every time I get to a 9. That's a unique path that I use to get there. And so basically for part 1, we just sum up the sets, and for part 2, we sum up the vector, the lists, and you get to the same, you get to the same place. You get 694, and then you get 1497 for the answer here. Oops, that's not it. And there's my, and down here you get 1497, and I'm done in a minute. I could have saved myself a couple hundred places if I didn't think about making the video for part 1 ahead of time. But anyway, so that's it. Hilariously simple, at least for me today. Sometimes that's how it goes with these problems. If you set it up right or you guess right, part 2 ends up being simple, and if you forget or you don't, part 2 can be a pain in the ass. So thanks for sticking it out with me as always, everyone. We'll look forward to day 11 tomorrow. Take it easy. See you then.